I don't know. Are you ready? Tell me if you're ready. Stop that. Okay, I'm not ready yet. So we'll just have a minute to pause here. I think my sound is good. I think the picture is good. And tell me if you're here. It's 5 o'clock on Thursday. Yes, it is. 5 o'clock on Thursday. That means it's Friday Eve or weekend Eve, if however you want to look at it. I love Fridays, and that's tomorrow. There's just a good feeling about a Friday, don't you think? Okay, it's, come on. You know, it's been a little iffy here today, internet-wise, because we've had a storm go through again. It's rained all day. I have loved it. I love rain, but it makes it a little bit iffy in the internet department. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. So come on, pull up, pull up. And maybe it won't pull up today. Let me know that you're here, and if you don't mind, oh, happy birthday. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I want to see who you are. It's not cooperating with me. And if I have to keep looking over there to find out who you are, it's not going to work. Oh, really? Okay, let's do this. Oh, I had a lot of windows open. That might have been part of my problem. Oh, I can't sit in. Oh, it's churning and churning and churning. Come on, don't do that to me. Well, it looks like I have a little bit of reception here, just a little. Looks like Heidi is here, and I knew that was Heidi because of where she said she's from. And Marilyn had a birthday. Yes. How's that feel? Tomorrow's Friday the 13th. How does that feel? And hi, Joyce. And I know there's more of you here. I'm just not getting it all up. Okay. Oh, I think we just made it. And Pat is here, and Judy from Texas, and Lynn, I believe, is in Sacramento area, and Anne. And Barbara said she hasn't been able to listen for a little while. I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk some heavy-duty stuff today. And it's going to be loosey-goosey. I don't have a very strict plan of how I want to say what I'm going to say, but we're going to play it by ear. And Valerie is here. I'm glad you're here. And I know it's so late, but Valerie, we've missed you. I don't think we saw you last week. Or even on, didn't we do a broadcast earlier this week? Oh my heck. The days are flying by, totally flying by. And Judy from Centralia, Washington. Well, I tell you, I can't believe how fast everything is going. And they say the older you get, the faster it seems to go because you've got all those years behind you that went slow, and all of a sudden, pop, 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 it just keeps going faster and faster. And maybe we just want to hang on to each moment, and that's why it goes so fast. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure at all. Well, okay. Friday the 13th. What do you guys do? Anything different for Friday the 13th? It's kind of a crazy day, right? Lots of superstition around. I didn't even realize it was Friday the 13th. Well, it's my daughter-in-law's birthday tomorrow. So she's going to celebrate, I'm sure, because they're going out of town. Hey, Mavis, love your fall colors. I love them too. I am so delighted to look at how beautiful everything is this year. Last year it was kind of boring. This year it is gorgeous. All those bright reds and oranges. Sometimes the leaves turn brown and fall off. That's it. This year they are giving us a show, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But I look at in my, yeah, Valerie, you didn't make it on Tuesday. Nope, I noticed you were gone. I notice these things. I'm just so happy everybody's here. Where was I? Oh, I look at all those leaves out there that are all turning yellow and red. Pretty quick, they're going to be on the ground, and I'm going to be raking. We've tried the vacuum for, that vacuum you suck things up with, but twigs would get sucked up and get stuck. So I'd end up taking everything apart to get it unstuck because it wouldn't work. And we have a blower, and it wouldn't blow them very well because sometimes they're kind of wet, so they don't blow. And we also have a lawnmower that has the bag on it where it just sucks everything up and puts it up. It gets a twig in it and it gets stuck. Nothing works. I don't know how you guys do it, but nothing for me works. The best thing that's worked for me is a couple of grandkids come over and say, let's rake leaves. It's a lot of work. I have like 50 trees, and some of them are squished together, so it doesn't look like I have a whole forest here, but I have a lot of trees, and all those trees have leaves. They're so wonderful in the summer, but in the fall, it's a lot of raking. And Rhonda is here from Arkansas. Yep, Annie, we like to mow them up too, but they don't get sucked up like we want them to do. But my husband insists on doing it that way, and I say, I don't care how you do it, but get them off the grass. Because I know that last year the snow came so quickly that there were still leaves in some parts of the grass, a good amount of leaves that we couldn't get up before the snow fell. And of course, it kills the grass. So we don't want to have the leaves there for sure. I have a lot of sticks, Marianne. I guess I have too many sticks. Oh, Debbie Johnson said she is currently in North Carolina traveling. Now, Debbie's from Florida, so she's traveling a ways. Hey, Michelle. Well, I am so happy you guys are all here today. Can I start with a fun fact? Yep, I want to start with a fun fact. I found these, and I like to think a little bit. Not all the time, but here I'm thinking. Did you know that the letter A is not in the spelling of any number from 1 to 999? I didn't realize that. Did you realize that? There is no A in any number between 1 and 999. That is amazing. All those numbers and there's no A's. Do you believe me? Well, I read it. I found it today. Anne is from Maine and currently in Florida. You guys are bouncing around. Look at you go. All right, here's another did you know, because I love these. Pardon me if you already know this stuff. This one I really liked. Chewing gum while studying and then chewing the same flavor while taking a test will help you remember what you studied. Have you ever thought about that? Pretty cool, huh? So if you chew the same flavor of gum while you study and then chew gum while you take the test, and I don't chew gum, so it's not going to work for me, and I'm not taking too many tests, but chewing gum while studying and then chewing the same flavor while taking a test will help you remember what you studied. Amazing. Okay. I have one that, 1, 2, 3. Oh, there you go, Heidi. See, you guys are all lost in the numbers. Okay, don't get lost for a minute. Put that one on the back burner for a minute because this next one I'm going to show you or tell you, you're going to get lost with this one. These are my 3 favorite, my 3 favorite ones. Okay. No, I'm not taking any tests either, but I thought it was pretty interesting to think about that. So maybe if you're studying a pattern, okay, that's kind of what we do. Maybe if you chew gum while you're sewing it, it will be easier. I don't know. Let's think of a way to do it, though. Think of a way to make it better. All right, okay, this one. Listen carefully, and you might want to write this one down because I don't want you to forget to do this because this one is crazy. And I says, oh, it's not either. I did it. It does. This one does. Okay, are you ready? Okay. First of all, Debbie Johnson said, chewing gum is true. My elementary teacher friends would let their students chew gum during tests. Hey, Alice, I was missing you. You're here. Annie, maybe that's the right idea. Maybe chew gum while you teach, and I can't remember when I need it. But then how can you teach with your mouth full of gum? Okay, I'm going to pause. I'm not going to read your comments. I'm going to avoid it for just a minute because here's the good one. I saved it till last. Are you ready? All right. If you search for this word on Google, okay, that's where I'm going. I'm going to give you a word. And so you're all got your laptops out, right? And then you're not going to listen to me after this because you're going to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're all going to be typing it in. So maybe we'll crash Google right now. If you search askew, A-S-K-E-W, do you want to write that down? A-S-K-E-W, askew, on Google, the window and the search results will tilt slightly to the right. Try it. I'm going to read it one more time in case I stuttered. If you search askew, A-S-K-E-W, in Google, the window and search results will tilt slightly to the right. It does, Alice, it does. Yes. Does anybody else tried it yet? This is crazy. I thought, oh, come on, it's really not going to do it. Somebody made that up. And I typed it in, and at first I thought, well, it's not tilted. And then I looked at it. It is. It is tilted to the right. That is really funny. I agree. I agree. All right, so I'll close that window. All right. So Rhonda, did you do it? All right, if you did it, raise your hand, say, yes, I did, say, okay, say something. That's two of you that have said, I've looked at it. Askew, A-S-K-E-W. And I'm sure there's other things out there that do crazy stuff, but I thought that was crazy, askew. I did it, Sheila did it. Okay, so it works on your phone too, because I don't usually search stuff on my phone. And Valerie said, yes, it's weird. Okay, got quite a few of you. There's still some that haven't tried it. Okay, come on. Let's get some brave souls out there. Alice, my kids didn't tell me that. I just happened upon it on the internet today. And I kind of like things like that. Mary tried it. Good. And Alice did it on her phone too. It tilted each way. Really? Mine only tilted to the right. But really, at first I thought, oh, it's not doing it. It's not doing it. And then I looked carefully and I looked away and I looked back and I thought, my heck, that is tilted. It is tilted. Okay. Once you do that, I want you to say down there, I did it. Yeah, totally. I'm going to have to put that in my family chat today. I will right after this because you know they're not watching, right? Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, what we have to do is we have to blink, remember? And we have to sit up straight and look up, and then it brings positive thoughts. So those fun facts, they were kind of fun, but now we need to think positively, right? It is tilted, Debbie, it is. And the chewing gum, Mary said, yes, we have to show your grandkids. Grandkids will think you're amazing. They'll think, wow, she is so smart. Yep. You are smart. And well, I've told you many things that you need to do. You need to blink to reset. And then you need to sit up straight and hold your head high to have positive thoughts. And then remember to look in the mirror and say, wow, look at you. You are amazing. Right? And then every day is going to go better. Do you ever have those days where you just don't feel like doing anything? I kind of had that this morning. I just didn't feel like, so I cleaned a few things out and it made me feel a lot better. Teresa said she did it. Great. I am glad to hear it. I love it. Okay, I'll put that away for a minute. Oh, I have things to show you. I have something I was going to show you new today, and I'll do that in a minute. Let's see. I want to remind you that this Thursday we have our pre-class on this, our prep class for the pile of pumpkins, pumpkin pile. That's our prep class, and that's on the 19th, so it's next week. I think it's a week from today. I'm not really sure if it's a Thursday or not. And then the Zoom class is on the 24th, so don't forget, circle those dates on your calendar so that you're there for the prep class. Because if you have any questions, then would be the time to ask them before the class starts, right? And then we have our Zoom class on the 24th. And if you're in that class, make sure you have, I noticed that several of you have already tried out the Zoom link to make sure that it works for you. And there's one person that said their Zoom link didn't work, so we got that worked out. But make sure you try out that Zoom link before the class, because once the class starts, I'm right here and I won't even be reading my emails or Facebook or anything. I won't even be going there. I'm going to sneeze. Okay. Hey, Mavis, yours didn't tilt? You know, I didn't think mine did, but I had to look at it again and then I noticed it. And are you doing it on your phone, or are you doing it on your laptop or your computer? Because I think you're going to get a different view on each one. So don't give up, Mavis. And I want you to click in and tell me it worked, because I want to see it work. I think it's amazing. I think it's crazy. All right, so we have our prep class on the 19th, and that's going to be here on Facebook. You don't have to sign up. You just have to come. If you can't be here that morning, it'll be at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. If you can't be here that morning, just don't worry. It'll be on Facebook, just like this is on Facebook. I'm going to do it the same platform. And then on the 24th is the Zoom class. And that's the one I want to make sure that you have the link and it works properly for you. If you can't watch either of those, you'll still have the recording. And probably the recording for the Zoom will go out that afternoon. It depends on how long the class takes. It's going to take a little bit of a time to make these. That's why I wanted to have the prep class, to make sure that everybody's on the same page so that we don't take up a lot of time during the class, because I want you to get it finished. Because yes, we're going to bind. If you've never machine bound before, then we're going to go over that again. Every time I do one, I will go over that. But I tell you, once you do it that way, Alice, right? It's a game changer for me. It was, because I don't want to take a lot of time binding everything. My hands would be sore. I'd be sticking pins in my legs because it would be on my lap. It was always such a pain. And I thought, I can't sit that long. I've got to be moving. I've got to be making, right? And so that's why I machine bind, and it goes so fast. And I think it looks pretty professional, and it will last forever. If you want to bind it by hand, that's okay. No problem with that. And if you'll notice on these, I did do the doodle applique. If you choose not to do doodle applique, that's okay. You can applique it any way that you are comfortable with. It really doesn't matter, because it's your project and you can do it how you want. Okay, and I'll remind you and thank you for all the people again. We're still getting orders for these. Thank you so much. This is like my favorite bag. I should call it my favorite bag, but there's a new girl in town. All right. And this one's going to get bounced just a little bit. Let me see if you have any. Alice, I'm so sorry. And Mavis says Pjone. She says her head is already askew. Maybe that's why it doesn't work. Yep, Alice, the mitered corners come out perfect on the machine binding, and I love it. I don't remember who taught me this, but I have done it this way for at least 10 years. And the pattern, once you purchase the class, there's a welcome letter you receive. This is a good thing to go over many, many times so that everybody understands. You'll receive a welcome letter. In the welcome letter, it says that, actually it tells you that we're going to meet on the 19th at 10 o'clock to go over the pre-prep work that you need to do, and then the class is on the 24th. And there is a link, and in that link is where you'll find the pattern. There are 2 links in the welcome letter for this class because it's a live class. So there's a Zoom link, that's the second link, and the first link is the link to the file where the pattern is. And in that same link where you find the pattern is where you'll find the recording once the class is over. Okay? And even in that link, you'll find the templates, you'll find the pattern, you'll find the welcome letter again, and then you'll find the recorded class once it's over with. So that's where the pattern is. If you have any problems, then let me know, okay? You can email me at barb@sewatbarb.com and I will be able to help you. But first of all, I want you to look there. And if you didn't get the welcome letter, look in your junk mail, look in your spam folder or something, wherever the things that they don't know you're going to, where they go, look there. Because in the email that you signed up for the class is where the welcome letter will go back to. So make sure you're using an email that you check, because that's where it'll go to. I mean, that's the only reference I would have for you is that email. Okay. Yes, you can go back to any recording from a prior class. Yes, in that file, they're all listed there. Okay, are you ready? I'm really excited about this one. Really excited. Okay. I love bags. That's a truism. Okay. This one is called, you know how the young girls are doing these fanny packs, but this is their fanny pack. Heck, when we had them down on our fanny. This is a fanny pack for your shoulder. And all the young girls are doing these days. And I tried it one day and it just didn't work because I didn't like the bag that I had. But this one I'm in love with. It's big enough that I can fit my phone in again. This time it's going to go in sideways. I have a zipper right here and opens and closes. I have a snap pocket right here. So it snaps shut, where this one does not snap shut. I felt like it was short enough that it didn't need to snap. But this one right here, this one's going to snap shut. And then snap shut there. Okay. And then on the back, there is another zipper pocket. So this one's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets, where the other one had 5. But there we have 4 pockets. I love this. I love it so much. And this one is a little more roomy than the other one, so you can carry a little bit more. But it fits right there. You don't even know it's there. You don't even know it's there. It just fits there nicely. It kind of cups under everything. What can I say? So this one's called It's in the Bag, and as I call it my shoulder fanny. I know it's a dumb name, but to me, we had fanny packs. This is a shoulder one. And the nice thing about it is you can see that it's really got some strong connections right there. And then, of course, the top up here has a belt loop on it, so you can make it longer or shorter, however you want it to fit on you. So there you go. There is it's in the bag. And here's the deal. I like to offer an early bird discount for the first couple of days when I first introduce a class, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Not only always will I, sometimes I don't have time to do that, but this one I'm going to. There is a discount. It will be until Monday at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Monday. All right. The discount is BAG15, bag 15. That's the code you need. And I will make a post if you don't have time to write it down or if you're not able to write that down. But that's your discount. And you have from right now until Monday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's bag 15, and it is called It's in the Bag. Okay, I know you're going to like it. And this is going to be a live class, by the way. I don't have my calendar. It's right over there. I think this one's in November, the first part of November. And we'll also have a prep class, a prep class on Facebook, and then we'll have the actual class. And the reason I wanted to do this one live is because we are going to do a snap, a magnet snap on here. And I think those are new enough to a lot of people that they don't really know how to do it. And there's only so much you can do in a pattern to write everything down. And I think that will make this one a little bit easier for you to understand. So we're going to do this as a live class. That's 2 live classes. And I even have another live class planned out for the 1st of December, but I don't have it ready yet. All right, any questions? Valerie, we would call them that too. We call them bum bags. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope I'm not being insulting to you. Ah, okay. I'll watch how I say that, Valerie. I don't want to be offensive. Okay, I think we are ready to move right on to the demo for today. Now, the demo I want to do today is a little bit more involved and has, and I want you to maybe take some notes on this one. I didn't write anything down for you, but we're going to talk about a lot of things. All right, one of the things I want to talk about is, let me get a project. I want to show you that it is possible. A lot has been said and done on the internet recently because of the new introduction of the Altair and the Meridian of the new machines, and the Solaris has this also. It has yarn couching. And I tried actually about 4 years ago to do some yarn couching. Was not really successful with it. And I thought I really want to do that because I had some patterns I wanted to work with and nothing really ever worked out well. Well, I've been studying it some more and I have found some things that work for me. So I want to pass that on to you. If you have the Altair 2 or the Meridian 2 or the Destiny has couching on it, at least a couching foot, but the Meridian, the Altair, the new ones, and the Solaris have built-in designs in couching. And if you'll notice, all of them are in the embroidery section. There's no sewing couching. So I want to talk about couching and sewing, besides a little bit about the embroidery couching. But because there's not a way to give you a pattern in sewing that will be a couching type pattern. It's mostly going to be in the sewing. There are some, yes, there are some, but we're going to talk about the 2 differences between the 2. Yeah, Valerie, do call things by different names. One of my favorite names that when I was in England was rubbish. And I always want to use a rubbish, but I always forget. Or the lift. I thought that was kind of a cool name. But I forget that I can use those. Okay, a lot of things are popping up here, but and really, if you'll try a skew and then say, okay, tried it. I want to know that everybody can do it. Everybody but, was it Mavis? Who could not do that? I'm going to scroll back. Yeah, Mavis said it did not work for her. I want to make sure everybody can do that because I think it's kind of cool. So Google askew, A-S-K-E-W, right? A-S-K. I think that's what it was. All right, let's talk about the embroidery part. I'm going to go down here. All right, these are the things that came with my Solaris right here. And there are also, this is very similar to what you're going to find on your Altair, your Meridian. It's a little different than what you're going to find on your Destiny. But we're going to talk about how this works together. I'll show you where this, if you have never done the couching, you are really going to like it. So let's do some together, okay? This right here, I'll show you how this fits on your machine. And really, this is if you've never even done it. So we're going to just show you everything. If you already know this stuff, that's okay. And if you couch and you love it, that's even better. I want to talk about this foot right here. This foot is a little confusing. I hope that's not too blurry because it looks a little blurry to me. There is a hole. There is a hole right there for your needle to fit into. All right, so it's really important that you know what's going to happen in that hole. And then, of course, here's the little piggy tail that your yarn's going to fit through when you put it down into your foot. And over here, there is a screw. Now, there is a misconception from a lot of people, that at least that I've worked with, when you turn this screw, it's going to adjust the needle. It doesn't adjust the needle, it adjusts the foot. Because when you get into your couching designs in your embroidery, it puts the needle in the left-hand position. And that's exactly where it needs to be. And then your yarn will feed through this hole, and I'll show you how you're going to do that. There's a little wire that comes with this. I didn't get my wire out, but this little guy right here is a floss that I think people with braces use these. I just happen to have a package of them, and I think I bought it for this reason because I've never had braces. This right here is a little loop that you can thread your yarn down in that hole. And I'll even do it right here. And it just threads the yarn in. So once you get it in there, there you go. So that thread is going to be to the back, and this will come up through here. And as you sew, it will pull that yarn back like that. And it will stay in the pigtail once you get it on your machine. It will just pull it back as you couch over the top of it. Where your needle sits in this foot is so very important. I have a little illustration here. So right here, this is the little point of the foot. There it is right there. And there is a hole. That's where your needle is going to go down inside. Let me pull this around. This is the left side of the foot right here. And then you got your little pigtail up there, and you got your screw over here. Okay, so this right here, if you watch the movie on your machine, and I really want you to watch this movie because it's like a 2-minute video on your machine, and it will show you exactly what I'm talking about. And it will say, okay, divide. If you divided that hole right there where the needle is, you want your needle to land in this part of that hole. Okay, you don't, if it lands over here, it could land over there and it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it won't catch your yarn as easily. So having it fall right here, because you see your yarn is coming in at this direction, so having the needle land right there, it's more often than not going to catch your yarn. And you really want to couch over it. You want to sew over it. All right, so when you put this on your machine the very first time, you'll want to adjust it then. But I always double check whenever I put it back on my machine. I want my needle to land right there. If it's not landing right there, then I need to adjust my foot. So I will turn this back and forth until, well, just forth or back. You're not going to go back and forth until it adjusts the hole to be where the needle would be right there. So you're not adjusting the needle, you're adjusting the foot. And you'll turn this screw right up here, and you'll need your little screwdriver because this isn't going to bounce around. And that's good because you don't want it to bounce around. If it bounces around and moves, you're going to break a needle. And I tell you, I broke about 3 needles yesterday because I was doing different things with this. And I'll show you what I was doing to break my needles, and I don't want you to break your needles. All right, so that's how this all works. Do you have any questions on that? Oh, Alice, going back to askew, it has to be in the Google search engine. That's very true, because it's Google that askews it. All right, does anybody have any questions on how you adjust this? I know on the Meridian and the Altair, the new ones, they're going to be adjusted the same way. The Destiny is different. All right, so that one has some couching, it has the couching foot, and it has a couching, one of these little guys and everything, but it's not going to be done the same way. All right, any questions? If you don't, I'm going to go on, and I'll show you how to put this on when we get over there. All right, so if you don't have an Altair, Meridian, Destiny, or a Solaris, and you want to do couching, there is still a way to do couching. If you have a couching foot and you want to sew, you can do free motion quilting with this. You can do, I'll all sorts of different couching techniques with the couching and not in embroidery. And I'll show you how to do that with this foot, because you can still use this foot and use it in sewing. You just have to make sure you put your needle in the left hand position. And that is got to be circled in red. Make sure your needle is in the left hand position. If it's not in the left hand position, you're going to break a needle. And that's what I did yesterday, because I would switch back and forth and I would forget. I thought, oh, dang it, I forgot. And it quickly tells me, because it breaks my needle, and I don't like to do that. Because when you break a needle, it sometimes can chip your foot. And I may have chipped my foot or put a little burr in it, because I was breaking thread after that a few times, not all the time. So make sure if you're going to sew, put your needle in the left-hand position. If you're going to embroider, your machine already goes to the left-hand position, so you don't have to worry about it. What you have to worry about is adjusting the foot. Once you adjust it once, you probably don't need to readjust it. It's probably going to be okay. All right, so either put this sticky note or a little reminder on your machine that your needle has to be in the left-hand position. Please don't forget that, because you won't be a happy person. I tell you, you won't. All right, so if you want to use the sewing, if you do not have a couching foot, here's another foot that you can use. This is the braiding foot. I love to free motion with the couching, because I like to do all sorts of other things, and I don't want to write a program for it. I just want to be able to follow a line if I want to. Oh, let me show you what I did yesterday. I did this, and I was able to couch this with my sewing machine, and this was kind of fun. And I just followed the line, but this is the foot that I used. I used my braiding foot. And if you have a foot kit, if you have the 12-foot kit or the 6-foot kit, you probably have this. And if you bought the 30-foot kit, you definitely have this. Or you could go in and purchase this all by itself. But what it has a little space right there. And this right here will move this closer or further away from that little hole that you have right there. So what it does is it will guide things under your foot. And once again, you got to know where your foot is, or where your needle is. So I would use this same little tool, and I would pull my yarn back inside like that. And now it's under my foot. Now you're not going to have that little piggy tail up there. You're not going to have that. But that's okay. When I am free motion quilting, I kind of want this to be out front, and I would put it like in front of my machine, a nice little puddle. You want to make sure you have a puddle. And as it sews, it's going to pull it in like this. So you can see with the needle falling back here, it's definitely going to be couching that yarn. And also, if I were sewing, I would probably use invisible thread on the top and invisible thread in the bobbin, and I would do a tiny little zigzag. I don't want to flatten my yarn down, but I think a zigzag is going to give me a better look, whereas over here, you're going to be doing just a straight stitch. All right? Let me show you another sample that I was working on yesterday, because I wanted to see what worked the best. And I want you to see that right here, I used a thread that matched my yarn. And when it would miss the yarn, you can see that I have a line of thread around there. And I could see that one way or the other, it was a little more difficult for me to get that yarn to go right under my needle. This was when I was using my yarn couching foot. All right? And then when I went up to here, I used my braiding foot, because I wanted to see how well I could get around those corners. And going up over the yarn is I go a little slower, and I make sure that I don't catch the yarn that's underneath. But you can see that on one side, it caught it a little bit better using this couching foot. And on this other side, it didn't catch as well as it did going this way. So I found that as long as I keep my stitch pretty much going straight as I could, and when I came to a corner, I would tilt my fabric around. I just wouldn't expect it to turn the corners like you would in free motion quilting, because in free motion, you keep this and you move it steady like this. But on this one, when I did the couching, I would make sure that I had pretty much a straight line coming toward me. That way I could really see where I was going a lot better anyway. Does anybody have any questions? You guys are so quiet. I want questions. I want questions, buddies, okay? Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what you want me to talk about. Okay, I'm going to go over. We're going to put these two pieces on, and let's see how we do this. All right, let me back this up. All right, so this little guy right here, I'm even going to move you back further so you can see. All right, this guy right here, he has a little tab right there, and that is going to fit in right like that. Just that easy. That's how nice. Anne says she's chewing gum. Good for you, Anne. I love it. Okay, that's going to fit right on there. And above, I have my skein of yarn right up here, and I have my my alternate thread guide up here, and I have it down all the way. I don't have it all the way up like I would if I were threading, and I would have a whole pile of this sitting out here. I don't want to have too much out here, but I'm going to be watching it to make sure that I have enough out there. Once it starts to pull tight, then you're going to get it pulling tight down here, and it's not going to catch under the needle. All right, so let me move you back here. So one time when I moved the camera around like that, I actually turned it off. It was not a good moment. All right, so this foot is going to come right off. And this little guy is going to go on. And it's always a good idea when you're moving your feet on and off that you tighten this screw on the side. I don't know if you've ever been embroidering before or even sewing, and that foot works loose, and you think, and it starts to wobble, and when it starts to wobble, then your needle hits the foot, and you're not happy at that point. All right, so right here, there's a little hole to go through. Right here, there's a little hole to go through. And then right up here, there's that piggy tail. Now some people say, well, that piggy tail right up there is not that important, but it's there. I like to use it. I like to put it in there. All right, and at this point, this is where I use this little guy right here. And I'm going to put him through the hole and pull that yarn. I missed it. I was trying to keep my hands out of your way, and in doing so, I didn't get the yarn where it needed to be. Okay, so there I go. And that just pulls it right in. So you'll notice that that is going to pretty much keep that yarn right in that one spot. And now I would be able to go into, let me turn this around. I would go into my embroidery. And yours, depending on what machine you're on, might be a little different than mine. And there I have them right there. Those are all embroidery patterns. And as soon as I go into that, it's going to put that needle in the right place. All I have to do is to make sure that my foot is lined up. All right, I could pick anything in here, and that would embroider out beautifully. You don't have to worry about the corners like I told you before. These right here were done in the sewing portion. And I'll show you, seems the embroidery part is kind of easier to do. I'm going to show you, I'm going to demonstrate how to avoid those right there, okay? And then if you know what, if you do find out you've done a whole project and you're so happy with it, except it's missed in a couple of places, just go back with your sewing machine and catch it. It really, nobody will even know. All right, this is where you're going to find all the couching, but I'm going to go over to the sewing part. Actually, let me go to let me see. I didn't preview where this was. So I'm not quite sure where it is on here. Oh, this would be it. And we're not going to watch this whole thing, but I wanted you to see that you do have it on your machine. It's here. And there's no sound to it. And she's taking too long. I want to go faster. Okay, there is talking about the foot that you're going to put on. This is the part that you've just, I can't say this enough. I just can't say it enough. It is so important that you get that needle where it needs to be. For one thing, you don't want to break your needle. So you got to have your foot in the right spot. Another thing, see, here's where they're talking about where your needle needs to land. See how important that is? So go watch your video and know that that is really important. There's two things that can happen. If you don't get it in the right spot, it's going to hit your foot and break your needle and chip your foot. And the next thing it will do is that it will not catch your yarn. See how she's turning that right there? And it's adjusting the foot, not the needle, the foot. All right, let's go out of there. Oh, Janice, you're so sweet. Thank you. So she doesn't know about chewing gum. All right, you'll have to go back and watch the gum chewing part. That was kind of fun. All right, so here's where I found it. Let me go out so you know where to go. Let me go all the way out. We're going to go into the help window right here. And I know this is not, I wasn't going to show you this part, but I like it. You're going to go into the help window. You're going to go to the videos. You're going to go into embroidery 1. And then you can see the picture right here where it's talking about couching. It's a 5-minute video and we're not going to sit and watch it, but it's 5:41. You need to watch that. If you're going to do couching, a lot of those videos you already know about. This one is really important. So make sure you go in and watch it. All right, so we are going to talk about, that's the embroidery part. We're going to talk about sewing with the couching foot because I think that is fun to do. And I can see right now, because I am now in sewing, it's not going to put my needle where I need it to be. I've got to remember to put it in my left hand needle position. Don't just, put a little sticker somewhere where you can say, okay, I've got to remember to put my needle in left hand position because now you've got your couching foot on. It's really important. Make sure it's in left hand needle position. All right, and if I were, let me pull this one up. If I were going to just sew, you can see how this is going to go out the back like you would normally do your embroidery. Move it over here. I want to make sure I get a good view of this. Okay, I can bring it in a little bit. All right, so on this one, I'm going to go into free motion because right here, see how I'm going to lighten that up a little bit. These lights on these machines are so bright that you can't see anything. All right, you can see that as I take my stitches, and I'm almost afraid to take stitches because I tell you, I broke needles yesterday. I might have to buy me a new foot. So you can see that as I stitch, this is going to work out just fine as long as I'm doing nice small stitches. And I've just got it in a straight stitch, my left hand needle position. But look how fun this is. If you have a pattern that you want to couch over, this is a great way to do it because maybe there's not an embroidery pattern for it. Now I'm going to cross over my path there. Okay, I got over it just fine. It gets a little stuck right there. I'm going to encourage it to keep moving. And I have my pivoting feature on, which makes it nice because it will lift up for me. And I do have invisible thread in my bobbin and in my needle. I'm going to kind of make this do some crazy things and see how well it does, and then we'll look at it. So I'm going all different directions. And I can see that it's missing a little bit on this part. Okay, I'm going to cut my threads. And to save myself from having to rethread that, I'm going to pull it out and then cut my thread. Now you can see that that did a pretty good job. I'm going to take it over under the other camera in just a minute so we can see it better. But now I want to put my other foot on, because maybe you don't have this foot. Maybe you don't have a couching foot. I want you to see that it's possible to do this without the couching foot. You could actually use your I don't know that I have mine up here because I don't use it very often. The closed toe free motion foot, you could actually use that foot. But I am going to put on my braiding foot. Okay, Heidi, straight stitch instead of a tiny zigzag, because on the couching foot, you have one tiny little hole. You can only use a straight stitch. That's it. And that's why you need to have it in the left-hand needle position. But I want to show you that you don't have to have that foot. Heidi, you said you don't have a couching foot. So I'm going to use the braiding foot. Do you remember how it's too dark over here. It's got this little a guide right up there in the front. I'm going to get my little dental floss. And I'm going to thread some yarn down in there. Oh, I'm gonna be moving things around. Never mind, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna move that right out of the way. Because if you don't have your couching foot, then you don't have this guide either. So we're gonna just move that right out of the way. I just want you to see that it's very possible to do this. And now with the braiding foot on, I am going to use a tiny zigzag. But first I'm going to thread my yarn down in there. All right, now I've got it in there. I'm going to put my fabric back under, and I've still got it in free motion quilting because I am going to be a little free here doing this. All right, so I'm going to go into a tiny zigzag, and I have my invisible thread on it. And you kind of have to guide this one because you don't have that tiny hole that's going to guide it for you. And I would make a little pull of yarn right here in front of me. Okay, a squarish embroidery foot. Okay, this is one that I was looking for, the free motion one that had just the single hole in it. You could use that one too, as long as you made sure your needle went right down the center. Can't believe I don't have that one up here. I really don't use the closed toe one very often. Okay, but you can use your braiding foot because what you need is just something to guide that yarn through. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to get a good stitch. Okay, and now I'm going to just see how that foot is going to hold that yarn right where it needs to be. And if I had a line here that I was following, I could easily follow it because I could see it. It's right here in front of me. Because I'm using a zigzag stitch, it's pretty well obeying and behaving right here. And my fabric is reinforced, by the way. I have fusible fleece underneath. Okay, I think I will end it there. Oh, and it flipped back up underneath. Okay, well, that wasn't very good. Okay, let's come back over here. And if you have any questions, make sure you ask them, and we will talk about it, okay? All right, so this was the ones that I did just now. You will notice that when I was using the couching foot, there's one little part that it didn't catch right here. So if that were mine and this were a project I was doing, I would go back over with just my sewing and I would just catch that. I would catch that after the fact. But I had the braiding foot. Do you see how that it didn't miss a thing? That is all caught in there. You could actually pick any design you wanted to, and you could free motion, and I have it in the free motion. I have a tiny zigzag when I'm using the braiding foot because I have a bigger hole back here that I can zigzag through. If I am using the couching foot, I have one little hole. You need to make sure you make it into that hole, okay? So this is really fun. So if you don't want to do embroidery, if maybe you have a project you want to outline with yarn, and I know that I'm going to be doing some projects that we're going to have as classes that we are going to do this because it's just a fun thing to do. It just gives you another dimension on your project, and I really quite liked it. Has anybody tried this before? Is this a new thing? Do you want to try it? Are you ready to try it? Because I kind of liked it. I had fun doing it, and it's not that hard. And if I were sewing, both ways worked well for me. The couching foot and the braiding foot, they both worked really well. But just get some fabric out and just try it. Pull some yarn out. Just make sure that you have a good puddle of yarn that's not getting tangled or caught on anything. I know that at one point yesterday I was so involved with doing my couching that I didn't notice that I had forgot to puddle a little bit. So it was starting to pull, and at the pull point, it no longer was stitching on the yarn. It had pulled it far enough away from the needle that it didn't catch it. So Heidi said she's ready. Okay, if you don't have the braiding foot and you don't have a couching foot, you can actually use your J foot. You just have to guide the yarn underneath the foot. Like this one will guide it for you. The braiding foot will guide it for you. And really, until I did the couching, I never used my braiding foot. I'm thinking, okay, I've got it, but maybe I don't need it. But with this, it is wonderful. And having that zigzag, there's not a place that it misses. Not a place. And this guides it underneath your foot. Now, I know that there are 3-hole, 5-hole, and 7-hole cording feet. And the yarn doesn't fit inside that cording foot. It's just too small. That's mainly used for floss or something like that, or crochet threads. But this works so well for couching. I can't wait to do a project. I'm going to think of one that we can all do together. It is really fun. Really fun. No, you don't. Well, you do. But we were not, Janice, she said, I always thought I needed to hoop when I was in the embroidery mode. Yes, you do. You do need to have a hoop on to use the embroidery section. But what we were doing here was free motion quilting. We had the feed dogs down and we were free motion. We were using the couching foot, yes, but we were not in embroidery. So if you use this, make sure, I'm going to say it a zillion times, make sure your needle is in left-hand position or you'll break it. On the braiding foot, I simply used a tiny zigzag. If you use your J foot, you can also use a tiny zigzag. You'll just have to guide your yarn in as you do it. This one gives you more freedom to move if you wanted to. And I would definitely have my foot in the pivoting feature so it would come up when I let up on the gas, so that if I get to a place where I'm going to cross over some threads, then it's not hard to do. I just lift my foot up and it will lift the foot up enough that it will kind of jump over the thread, the yarn. All right. Valerie says, I'll give it a go this weekend. I have probably a different foot. I hope that you'll try that. And I will post a picture of my tree so that you can see this is what I did. And I learned a lot yesterday. And I really haven't done it a lot. I've wanted to do it. But I think that I've learned enough that I can do a larger project and I'm going to be happy with it. So make sure that you try it. You know, get some, this is like a 10 by 10 with fusible fleece on the back. It's just muslin. And I did like using the invisible threads though. Otherwise, you have to match your thread. And then if at all you miss a corner or it doesn't catch the corner, it's really obvious. And then you're not happy. So get the invisible threads. All right, I'm going to go back over. Many of you are just joining, and that's okay. I like it. I like that you're here. But two things I want to go over. Did you know, the fun facts that we talked about a minute ago, because you missed them. You can go back and watch them, but you missed them. All right, chewing gum while studying and then chewing the same flavor of gum while taking the test will help you remember what you studied. I love that. I love that. I'm going to share that with my kids. And the other one was, and I want you all to do this, and I want you to tell me if it works, okay? You, in your Google search, you have to be in the Google, because Google's the one that does this. If you search askew, A-S-K-E-W, in the window, the search results will tilt slightly to the right. Is that cool? All right. I want to see what you do with it. Let me know that you've done it. Let me know that the askew works for you. And then will you try this couching? If it's at all an interest to you, will you give it a shot? Because I think it's kind of fun. All right, we have Project on the 10s on the 20th, which is next week. Next week is going to be so busy. We've got our prep class. We've got Project on the 10s. We've got Buddy Chat. We have a lot going on next week. Besides, you're all going to be prepping for this, right? I love this. I love it so much. I can't wait to go somewhere so I can stick my shoulder fanny on. Actually, it's in the bag. And the discount for this until Monday is bag 15, BAG 15. Put that in there. Call all your friends and neighbors. It's going to be a live class. If you don't want to wait for the live, you can go ahead and stitch it out because the pattern's there. There's lots of pictures with it. You can stitch it out. You don't have to wait for me. But if you want to wait for me, I'd love it. I believe it is. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Now you're going to have to hang on for a second. And I'm going to roll around in here. I thought I'd put you on a different camera, but I didn't. All right, I'm going to tell you when the class is. I have it set up for our a prep on Facebook is going to be November 3rd. November 3rd at 10 o'clock. They're always going to be at 10. That seems to be a good time for all the people around the country, because that's what we do. And the Zoom class for this bag is going to be on November 7th. There you go. All right, and The Zoom class for the pumpkin pile is on the 19th, which is Thursday. And it will be at 10 in the morning, and that's the same day as Buddy Chat that afternoon. And then the next morning we have Project on the 10s, and we are going to be doing a mini pumpkin piñata. Okay? I shouldn't have told you. Now you're going to Google it. And then on the 24th is the pumpkin pile. That's the class, the Zoom class. Okay, we've covered a lot of stuff today, a whole lot of stuff. Janice, you mean if you free motion couch a pumpkin, that would be extremely cute. So cute. That would. Well, I'm going to have some patterns coming up that we're going to free motion with couching because I like to do it. The one that I did a few years ago was flowers. And so all of these petals, and they all had different, so I was changing yarn all the time. But it was really cute, and I don't know where it is right now. Rod, show it to you. Let's see. Okay, I think we've answered all the questions. Boy, we've gone way over time today, but we've covered a lot of stuff. I just wanted you to see the difference between free couching in embroidery and couching in sewing, just so you know that it is possible. And don't feel like, I mean, there are some beautiful embroidery couching designs. There are some beautiful ones. But if you don't have an embroidery machine, I don't want you to feel left out. You can still couch and it can be beautiful. There's a little more work to it, but you can do it. You can do it because you are amazing, right? All right, I will post, right after this, I will post about this class so you'll have it in writing. I am so excited for you to join me. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun. Good night, Valerie. We need to always say good night to Valerie. She stays up late to watch these. Okay, Janice. All right, everybody. I kept you way too long today. So I will see you very soon. Have a great weekend and know that you are amazing. Bye-bye.